Hello and thanks for joining us this hour on our news update. I am Emmanuel Ijiola here at the top stories. We begin with national news. NLC disagrees with federal government's over 5 billion naira palliatives. Isheshe Day 2023, Lagos, Oyo declare Monday work-free day. Falana drags CBN to court over floating of naira. On sport news, Super Falcon players get $10,000 each from First Lady for the WWC outing. We'll bring you details after the break. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has kicked against the 5 billion naira palliative package for state as announced by the federal government. Speaking through its president, Joe Ajero, the union claimed that palliative was shabbily planned by the government. Ajero said the palliative won't amount to 1,500 naira per person when shared among over 133 million Nigerians who are multidimensionally poor. He argued that there was no way 185 billion naira will amount to something impactful when shared among 133 million Nigerians who are multidimensionally poor, according to statistics it got from the National Bureau of Statistics. He maintained that each person would not get a cup of rice even if the funds were converted to the value of 6 trailers of rice. A fundamental human rights suit filed by a staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Sir Adatu Yaro, against the Department of State Services by a Federal Capital Territory High Court. Yaro, the second defendant in the 6.9 billion naira procurement fraud case by the federal government against the suspended CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, is asking the court to release her 6 exotic cars seized by the secret police on July 12, as well as bail from continued detention. In a motion on notice marked FCT/AC/CV/6918/23, Yaro, through her lawyer JB Daudo San, prayed the court to declare her arrest on July 12, 2023, the detention of her husband, and seizure of her 6 exotic cars as an infringement on her fundamental human rights. The Lagos and Oyo state governments have declared Monday, August 21, as work-free day for all public servants in the state to commemorate the year 2023 Isheshe Day. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, who spoke through his chief press secretary, Boyega Akosile, said the day was set aside to celebrate the indigenous Yoruba culture and traditions, as well as the preservation of Yoruba heritage. He stated further that the declaration of work-free day is a reaffirmation of his commitment to continue to provide the necessary support to traditional institutions in the state to provide our indigenous culture and tradition while preserving our heritage. And also, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde made declaration in a statement signed by the Secretary to Oyo State Government, Professor Lanike Adeyemo. The governor urged traditional worshippers in the state to use the occasion to pray for the peace, unity, and stability of the state in particular and the country in general. Senior advocate of Nigeria and human rights lawyer Femi Falana has dragged the Central Bank of Nigeria to court over the floating of the naira. According to the CBN website, the exchange rate is listed as 744 naira to 746 naira after the floating of the naira. Speaking during an appearance on Channel's television Sunrise Daily program, Falana argued that the Apex Bank is obligated to set the exchange rate according to the CBN Act. Falana says Section 20, subsection 1 of the CBN Act states that the official legal tender in Nigeria is solely the currency notes issued by a central bank, specifically the naira. He further explained that Section 20, subsection 5 of the Act deems it an offense punishable by 6 months imprisonment for anyone to use any other currency in Nigeria without the approval of the central bank. The senior lawyer also disclosed that he is challenging the decision to float the naira in court, noting that it is illegal and against the CBN Act. In a related story to that, the Central Bank of Nigeria has released fresh guidelines for the sale of forex by Bureau de Change operators in Nigeria. The decision was reached by the Apex Bank 25 months after the suspended governor of CBN, Godwin Emefiele, announced the discontinuance of foreign exchange sales to that segment of forex markets. CBN, in a statement released on its website, wrote, "The spread on buying and selling by BDC operators shall be within an allowable limit of -2.5% to +2.5% of Nigerian foreign exchange market windows weighted average rate of the previous day." Operators are to note that with effect from the date of this circular, non-rendition of returns would attract sanctions, which may include withdrawal of operating license. Where operators do not have any transaction within the period, they are expected to render new returns. Please be guided accordingly and ensure compliance. End of quote. And on foreign news, if all efforts to return democracy to Niger through its dialogue fails, the Economic Community of West African State Defense Chiefs have agreed on a day for a possible military intervention in the country. ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, Abdul Fatul Musa, said this at the end of a two-day meeting of regional defense chiefs in the Ghanaian capital, Accra, without disclosing when the day is. While stating that the date for the military intervention has been decided, Musa added that ECOWAS has also fine-tuned what would be required for the intervention. However, he noted that the community was still seeking to engage with the junta peacefully. British Columbia Premier David Eby declared a province-wide state of emergency in response to unprecedented wildfires on Friday night. Evacuation orders in British Columbia expanded from 4,000 houses Friday afternoon to about 15,000 by nightfall. According to Davison, tonight, as a result of this rapid deterioration, we are declaring a provincial state of emergency to ensure that we have rapid access to any tools that we may need to respond to this situation. End of quote. Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Center explained that over 380 wildfires have been raging since the beginning of the week throughout Western Canadian territories. Record that the wildfire officials warned on Thursday that they will be facing the most challenging 24 to 48 hours of summer, as wildfires have been ravaging Western Canada. And finally, on sports news, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has rewarded Super Falcons players with $10,000 each for their superlative performance at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. The Super Falcons made it to the round of 16 at the competition before bowing out on penalties against Three Lions of England. The 9-time African champions, who was in a group of death with the likes of Australia and Canada, caught the eye with their impressive performance in the competition. According to a BBC report, Tinubu hosted the players in Abuja this week and praised them for their unbreakable spirit and unwavering strength. Defender Osinachi eulogized Tinubu for kind gestures, saying they are grateful for the unexpected gesture because for several years they have been winning Women's World Cup of Nations and can't remember being rewarded this way. And that's the news this hour. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Instagram at AN24_TV, YouTube at AN24TV, and on Twitter at AN24TV. You can also visit our website at www.an24.net.